Hello and welcome to another edition of Let's Play Ring of Honor, Episode 6. And we are 2 weeks away from our second pay-per-view of 2015. That is in the second week of February. We bring you ROH Proving Ground. And that is also why Building 2 Proving Ground ROH television is going to be just as big as it's been every week thus far in 2015. And tonight is no different because we're going to kick it off booking the main event between Jay Briscoe and Notorious 187 Homicide. And this match is for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And we're going to book it for 18 minutes. It's going to be a stupendous match because Jay Briscoe, Homicide, two of the top brawlers in the wrestling world, and Homicide comes out on the short end against Briscoe. But either way, we see a stupendous match between two of ROH's veterans. No, I don't want to do that. Let's go slow build and open, and Jay Briscoe wins. Something I meant to do off camera, so I'm gonna do it now. I'm just gonna do that quick. That's how you turn people babyface. What are we gonna do? We're gonna do this. We're going to do this. Okay. For the first time in quite a while, no, you will not be seeing ACH compete, but you will be seeing the TV champion Jay Briscoe compete. Not defending his TV title, but still competing in a match tonight against Mark Andrews. Then you might say, what about Andrews? You know, why? Let's just see when 6 minutes, yeah. Now you might say, oh, why doesn't Andrews, you know, get bigger role? He did good against Chris Hero. Well, fact is, he was brought in short term to be a spot guy. He worked as a spot guy. Now his time's up. You don't know what a spot guy is. It's basically an old term for a jobber, meaning you come in when we're in certain areas, and after a certain amount of time you disappear, and then you get brought back. Now, what I may do off camera is find a way to get certain people the job, and then do a talent exchange, and then exchange talent so I can get new guys in, more spot guys, to also give, you know, say, you know, people from Dragon Gate the opportunity to be on national TV, even if it's just one, you know, in the second week of the second week of February, I have this guy on TV, and then he's not seen on TV, on ROH TV, again for 6 months, you know. That's how it could, and that's how it used to be back in WWE, or the, you know, the early years of, the early 90s, when WWF used to use job guys for every show. So they obviously don't do that anymore because they have in their minds too much TV to be doing that. I apologize if my congestion is irritating to you. I am getting over a cold, so get over it. We're gonna book this match. You know what? I'm not gonna book that match. I changed my mind. I am instead going to book. I'm instead going to book Kyle O'Reilly against him instead, because I think that Kyle O'Reilly versus Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be a good match. And because it is dictated on their, the time given to the matches is dictated based on the people's status in the company, I have to allot a certain amount of time to certain people, even though you might be looking at me saying, why is Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kyle O'Reilly getting such little time, even though it's going to be a really good match? Well, plain and simple, the reason is because Zack Sabre Jr. isn't popular, and the company is based on, the game based most of the ratings on popularity. Actually, I may be able to give him a little more time. I don't want to give him too much time, because then it'll negatively reflect on the show for giving somebody so low so much time. But I'll give him 8 minutes, that should be fine. Because, you don't want to give too much time for a lot more time. You don't want to give too much time for a free TV match, because then what's the difference between free TV and a pay-per-view? So yeah. Let's just... Now what I'm doing is I am making a new segment that I'm not going to include, where it's more focused on the guys talking rather than the guy who they're talking about. So it's more focused on Truth and Jay Lethal rather than the fact that they're talking about ACH, which in my opinion is how things should be. But now, this happens. ACH, Jay Lethal rather, and Truth get company. And the company they get is Nigel. Now you might ask, what the heck is Nigel doing out there? Well, if you don't know what the heck Nigel's doing out there, then you don't watch Ring of Honor. Because Nigel McGuinness is the matchmaker. And that's what Nigel's doing. Nigel's making the match. I just realized I didn't have to do that. So, and that's what Nigel does. Nigel says that Truth and Jay have been ducking ACH, and that in 2 weeks at Proving Ground, ACH will get his opportunity, where if he can last out the 15 minutes, the 15-minute time limit, he will get a title shot against Jay Lethal at a later date. I'm not going to say that it would definitely happen at Validation, but it is possible that it could. Now we move to this match, which is Homicide with a, obviously with, as it says in the description, he has an interviewer. And he's hyping his match against Jay Briscoe later. I just want to check something quick. That feud is not going to be touched tonight. This is the feud I want to check. Jay's fairly poor. Mark's fairly poor. That's fair. Okay. I'm going to leave that alone then. And I'm going to go a different way. And I'm going to go this way. Okay. What I want to do is this. I want to give it minor success, because, well, think about it. If the Homicide and Jay Lethal are becoming friends, then wouldn't that mean that Homicide would be willing to help Jay in his feud against the Kingdom, to help Jay and Mark against their feud against the Kingdom? So that means, okay, after the big match, Homicide, Jay Briscoe gained Homicide's respect. So, as you can tell, I'm building to the pay-per-view in 2 weeks. And without further delay, let's get to it. And we finally get here. That's the booking details. A solid match between Jay Briscoe and Mark Andrews. You know, this... I'm a big believer in not every match has to have complete meaning if other things have meaning to it, around it, that are built around it to where, you know, everything could have meaning. Yeah, that is a very Vince Russo-esque thing to do, but what are you going to do? So now we get this segment between Jay, with Jay and Truth Martini taunting ACH, saying how ACH is never going to get a title shot because he's not in Jay Lethal's league. And then that brings out Nigel, who says something to the effect of, you know, Truth, a couple weeks ago, you said that if ACH can beat your challengers, then he gets a title, then he'll get his shot against Jay Lethal. Well, he beat Ryan Pierce and the Enforcer back to back, so that means that ACH will get his shot at Proving Ground in a Proving Ground match against Jay Lethal, and if he lasts out the time limit, then he will get his shot against Jay Lethal at a later date for the TV title. And if you don't like it, Jay, then you can hand that title over right now, because I'll find somebody who's willing to defend it. And that's where Nigel makes the match. Kyle O'Reilly up against Zack Sabre Jr. Right around the match that I thought they would have, ratings-wise. Though many others may have thought they would have gotten better. Remember, this game is based solely on popularity when it comes to how your skills affect your segments. And if you're not popular, your segments aren't going to get as good as they would if you were. So that means if Zack Sabre becomes popular in the States, then him and Kyle O'Reilly are going to get would get a little bit better. But that's how it is now. Homicide talks about his upcoming contest against the world champion Jay Briscoe, and Jay Briscoe and Homicide have great chemistry. I didn't think of that because now Homicide's negatively affected in the feud, but whatever. Homicide and Jay Briscoe in a stupendous, hard-hitting, back-and-forth title contest, and Jay Briscoe comes out on top, but not before Homicide, and Jay walks over to Jay, offers him a sign of respect, his hand, and a sign of respect, and both men shake each other's hand. And Homicide has now turned, and now it's the Briscoes and Homicide against the Kingdom. As this week's show ends, remember last week I mentioned the idea of me running a 16-man tournament where 8 members of ROH compete against 8 members of, it could be various companies or it could be those who are unfortunately unemployed at this very moment. Fact of the matter is, what I want to know is, would that be something you want to see? Would a 16-man tournament where the winner gets a title shot? Where the winner gets a title shot, would that be something you want to see? Or would it be something you could do without? Would you want to be able to select people from the tournament? People that participate in the tournament? Let me know in the comments below if that's something you would